Okay, today we're going to talk about the 7 bumper lining drill. This is a very, very important drill. A lot of people misuse it, and a lot of people don't do it because they don't understand how to do it or what the real value is. There's many good reasons to do the 7 bumper lining drill. The primary thing that's important is that you develop a focus and go there. A lot of dogs never really learn to focus. They just kind of are looking around and then they go forward. This drill makes them look and go where they're looking. I have used it many times to help people understand how they're standing in relationship to the position of the dog. So it's a great drill to practice getting lined up properly. Many times people will get a dog lined up incorrectly. They'll send the dog goes in the wrong place, and then they're mad at the dog. So this drill teaches you to line up properly and to have the dog lined up next to you and focus and go. So the idea is to put these bumpers along the shoreline, and we always go in the direction of longest first. The natural tendency, especially you can see on the water the way the wind is pushing towards the shore, the tendency of the dog is to go and cut into the bank. That's the natural tendency of the dog. So with all those white bumpers there, the tendency is to say, I'll just get one of these ones that's right by my shoulder. But once they learn this drill, they get in the habit of continuing through to where they're going down the shoreline and not cutting into the temptation of the shoreline. This drill, as you can see, because of the wind, is also very good for teaching a dog to hold into the wind, because if they don't, they're going to end up in the wrong place. So one of the questions is, what do you do if they go to the wrong bumper? The answer to that is you have to handle, because on land you can stop the dog and move up and get the correct bumper, but on the water we can't walk out there, so we have to handle. And hopefully this drill has been practiced enough on land so that the water is pretty easy to accomplish. So this dog here is a young guy. He's a 1-year-old dog, the King of Hearts. And this is not his first time. This is what the drill looks like. He's very accomplished doing this drill on land, and he has done it on the water. This angle is not very severe. In other words, it's an easy angle. The farther to the left that you go, the farther down the shoreline towards where the bumpers are, the harder it gets. Now, for a really beginning dog, maybe you only use 3 bumpers and they'd be more spread out. The idea is to get the dog in the habit of focusing on something and then going there. This hopefully is not a drill where you would use attrition, where you'd keep calling the dog back and resending him until he got it right. It would be a simple handle and then move on. If you get too rough on the dog on a drill like this, you can create a water attitude that's not good. So this would be a beginning setup. Now here we have the next setup. It's more advanced. They're a little closer together, and the dog is older. This is a 2-year-old dog, and done this many times. So it's a demonstration of what you can do. So one of the rules is they must be visible. You must be able to see the bumpers. If they're hidden in grass and are not visible, this bumper right now that Shadow is going for is just barely visible. So the others are much more visible. So it's important that they're visible. Otherwise, you're wasting time. And it's not a drill that you want to get real far away. You want to have it be a very, very close drill, 30, 40, 50 yards on water. On land, it's even possibly closer. You can get a little idea of the distance apart. It's about 2.5 steps. Now, a younger dog, you're going to make it longer, and an older dog, you're going to make them tighter. So now I've moved a little to the left, making it a little more challenging. We want the dog to go straight. We want the dog to fight the wind and to go and pick up the bumper that he's looking at. In a trial situation, it's called getting a good initial line. Many dogs can't do it. So this drill teaches you A, to stand properly so you have a chance of getting a good initial line. B, getting the dog lined up so he's looking in the right place and goes there. And 3, it teaches him to hold into the wind. 4, it teaches him to not cave in to the land, which is where every dog would really like to go. So there's even more advanced versions than this. For instance, you could alternate this. You could have a blind somewhere and have this and pull a dog off and get a blind. You could then come back. So it's a drill that you can incorporate other components of the 7 bumper line drill, different ways to approach it. You can see here how this dog understands this. And some people say, well, he's just been taught to get the longest one away. Well, that's true. And that exact habit is what teaches a dog not to cave into the shoreline every time he sees one, which is the natural tendency of the dog. Now here I've moved back and made a little longer entry, and that's something that you can do, especially once they've started the drill like I have here. So now I'm going to move farther away and farther back, so I'm constantly changing the perspective that the dog sees. There's so many possibilities for this, and it's probably the most productive water drill that I do. You can create impossible angles. You can put obstacles. You can have land-water-land combinations. So many possibilities. I've done this for many years, and it teaches a dog to look out and go where he's looking. It's a beautiful thing once they get going on it. And then you can, like right here, I'm incorporating swim by, and which is called watch me and take the cast I'm giving you. Okay, that's 7 bumper lining drill in the water. Now, stand by for a really important message. In this book is the greatest story ever told.